Hello, this is Toby with Birdsong Studios. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you joining me on the channel. Thank you for your energy, your time, and your openness to the messages that will be coming through today. We are going to continue in this video with messages for the signs based on elements for the energies around the full moon in Leo, which will occur on February the 5th or 6th, depending upon where you are in the world. So this reading will be for the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And if you happen to have Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn in your sun, moon, or rising sign, you may find messages in this reading resonate for you. So we have this full moon in Leo coming in on the 5th or the 6th, again, depending on where you are. It's at 1:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then just actually at the time of the full moon, the sun and the moon will form a T-square with Uranus, which brings through the energy of sudden revelations, innovation, surprising events, unexpected events. And in addition, I believe it's just prior to, or earlier in the day, about 12 or 15 hours before, there will be a square with Venus and Mars, which can be a bit of a conflicting or confrontational energy between those two planets. So to begin with, we have for the overall energy, we have third eye energy, awakened vision. I did a little bit of a pre-shuffle ahead of time while I was just before meditating on your energy earth signs for this full moon in Leo, and this came out in the split. This is third eye energy, awakened vision. It is card number 11, which indicates a deep connection to your guides, to the angel realm. And in that meditation that I did just prior to filming, I got a sense of the importance of recognizing where your energy is being focused. And as full moons are associated with releasing and clarity that allows us to move forward, oftentimes in order to move forward, we do have to let some things go. We have to create space for what we're moving towards by leaving some things in the past. And so I got this very clear sense of the energetic connections that are still give me just a second, I'm trying to get the word, that are still being nurtured isn't quite the word, but being fed, that's the word I was trying to come up with. The energetic connections that are still being fed, that are not within alignment to what you're moving towards in the energy of this full moon, and as well in 2023 as a whole. So being very aware, using your awakened vision, your intuitive guidance that you receive, the hits, the clarity of sight through your third eye, to determine what energetic connections or bonds or past stories I'm hearing need to be released so that you can freely move forward with this full moon in Leo. Okay, so we will start with that. And then we're going to go to the tarot. This is the Life Soul Vision Oracle deck by Romy Weiser, and I will try to remember to put a link to that the website where you can purchase this deck in the description box. I think that I may have left that out in the past 2 videos, so I apologize. I will make sure that it goes into the description box in this video. It is a very powerful deck, and one that I really, really enjoy using. One that's filled with light and love and always provides beautiful insights. Okay, so we're going to, with my awkward shuffle, move forward with the tarot. We're going to look at messages for the light and shadow aspects around this full moon, as well as the yin and yang aspects around this full moon, meaning where we're invited to take action, where we're invited to surrender, or what we're invited to surrender to. And then we will look at key internal factors as well as key external factors. So we will start with, okay, they're saying the shadow. I usually start with the light. We're going to start with the shadow. So messages for the earth signs, please, Spirit, for the I get a sense of tightness in the chest. That often comes through when there's a little bit of anxiety. The shadow is nothing to fear. It is a part of you. It has purpose. It has value. And it is there to be accepted with love. And integrated. It's not to say that it's in our best interest to follow the guidance of the shadow, but it provides a portal of information to our unconscious realm and our potentially deep motivators or old storylines that are, although they're running behind the scenes, so to speak, are impacting our daily lives and our ability to move forward. So there's great wisdom and information to be found in the shadow. And for the shadow, we have the Ten of Wands. And so I'm getting a feeling of this is what's in the shadow for you, earth signs. And I think this is Uranus and Sagittarius. Interesting enough, as we were just speaking about Uranus energy. So the Ten of Wands is this heavy burden that you have carried. However, with the 10, we've reached the climactic point, is what I'm hearing, of this journey, of this struggle. And so you're being invited, earth signs, I almost said fire signs, you're being invited, earth signs, to look at where you're feeling burdened, and, but more so than that, what aspects of, okay, see how this figure is in a close to a fetal position, and all of these are on this figure's back. And I get this sense of back pain from it as well, physical pain, not emotional, or not only emotional or spiritual pain, but a physical pain. So if you're having, of course I'm not a doctor and I'm not making, if you're having pain, you should definitely see a professional. In addition, there might be an indication of where you're holding on to emotional pain that is then held in your muscles or your physical body, and an invitation to look closer at the source of that. And it also seems to be, because I'm being drawn back to the position of the figure here, it also seems to be potentially most recognizable when you're attempting to rest, Now this figure is bent over from the weight. Oh, and there's a dog here. Sorry about that. But I am getting this sense of it being very burdensome when you're attempting to rest, or feeling as if you cannot rest because of the weight upon your back. Okay, so let's look at the light aspects, please, for earth signs around this Leo full moon. It's almost, because I was speaking of tightness in the chest, and it's almost as if the figure is attempting to, or you're attempting to protect your heart, and yet at the same time that attempt is creating this burden that may be lifted otherwise, because if the figure were to stand up, all these would fall off, right? So in the light we have the Palace of Cups. So in this particular deck, this is Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti. In this particular deck, each of the suits has a Palace card as well. Which I'm getting this sense of it bringing all of the aspects of each of those suits into one card. So it's a pinnacle point for that suit. So the Palace of Cups, it would be a pinnacle experience or potential is what I'm hearing in your emotional state. And this has to do with, in order to reach that sort of emotional balance and comfort with our emotions, we have to be comfortable with all of them, right? Not just the easy ones, not just the ones that we've labeled as good, although there's no good and bad emotions. Emotions are temporary, and yet, let me take a sip of coffee. And yet, they're all good, and they're fleeting in that they do move through when we allow them to. And so being comfortable and being in the emotions, because see how the Palace is in the water, but see how it's just underneath the surface. So it's not, and it actually extends from just below the surface all the way down to the bottom of the ocean floor. And we have the Knight of Cups represented here too. So being willing to move through your emotions, the Knights represent movement. Being willing to find balance, because he's right in the middle here. This is the pinnacle emotional experience, to be able to experience both the highs and the lows of your emotions, and find your balance and your movement in the center place of it. Almost this place of neutrality, not detachment, but not attaching to any particular state, but allowing it to flow through you. And so I'm getting the overall message here is that in order to reach this state, we are going to have to release some of these burdens that have kept us down and kept us in this state of feeling like we must protect our heart, out of fear of what may be experienced when we stand up and step into this place of actually feeling all of the emotions. Okay, so let's look at and this may be related to that square between Venus and Mars as well for you earth signs. If you have some conflict or confrontation in an interpersonal relationship or within the divine feminine, divine masculine aspects within yourself, this may be the point of exploration that is going to be brought forward to you, really needing your attention around this full moon. Okay, so let's look at this, the yin energy, that where we're being invited to surrender, soften into. Ooh, and that idea of surrendering is a little bit, causes a little bit of anxiety too, doesn't it? Trusting in yourself to know where, to know that you're safe to surrender to